All right, fellas, we got a Toro SR4 super recycler. This is a cool machine. It's 21 inch, so it's not a 22. It's an older machine, and boy, I'll tell you, I'm talking about good bones, and the statement, boy, they don't make them like they used to. That kind of statement. Well, they don't make them like this. When you see this thing, all right? So my friend, buddy Juan, he had this thing, bought it a while back. I lost the footage somewhere. All right, so shame on me, but I just got so much footage. So what happened is the thing was really dirty, and it was covered in oil, and it was puking oil into the neighborhood. You'll see some of it when we go to burn it out. Anyway, we'll wait for that to get into the video. I mean, once it got warm, it was a fog machine. And so he brought it to me. I think the main issue is it got overfilled with oil. Where my finger is, my thumb, that's where the oil is. It's supposed to be over here. So you got like a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch or 5/8 of an inch of additional oil in it. And so there's a lot of oil in it. It's up in the crankcase vent. It was coming into the housing for the carburetor, and the air cleaner was a mess, which would potentially increase the suction, pulling even more in. So I think that it could be just eternally sucking in its oil because of those conditions, a high oil level, a filthy air cleaner. So it's feeding on itself. It's oil bound. Either way, it's going to be all in the muffler, in the combustion chamber, all up in the tube. It's going to be in the carburetor. We want to be able to get the carburetor clean, and we want to get the tank clean. It's nice out today, so I want to start off with that stuff. Let the oil drain, and then we'll put back some decent used oil and just make sure it's at or a little bit below even the full mark. Give it a chance, get it running again. We'll bring it outside and we'll let it run and see what happens. And it probably even had more oil than that in it, and so it had so much that the crankcase pressures go up, and it just starts oozing and peeing out everywhere and rejecting it. So we're going to clean this thing up and fix it. It doesn't need very much. We're also going to go over the rear end. It's a rear drive machine. So we're going to go over that, and we're going to lubricate it and clean it out a little bit. I cleaned it all up with the pressure washer, and I always pull off the wheels, and I clean the wheels and the mechanisms and the drive system, and I take all the pieces off and the tops off and everything. I get in there and I get with the pressure washer, and I didn't show any of that. Get it all nice and clean. It had to be. It was disgusting. What do you see this machine? Aluminum deck. It's got a Briggs 190cc engine on it. So it's got the adjustable handlebar. This has got the retractable handle. I've only got the one pin in, and even with that, right, it's so sturdy. It's like so well built. It's in good shape, and it's built like a lightweight tank. I mean, I'm actually looking at the thing right now. It's really nice. So let's get this thing cleaned up. Let me get you out of here on this. We're gonna get the thing cleaned up. We're gonna go over that. I'm gonna show you lubrication points and all that. Give it a tune-up, and try to test this motor and evacuate it and see if we can save this thing, because they don't make them like this anymore. You got to see this thing. Let's get started. All right, this blade's really no good. I tried balancing it. It's a mess, but I don't have one of these blades in a 21 inch. I dig this recycler wing. I'm going to tell them about it. Well, we might have to get one. If it vibrates too much, then I'm going to force them into getting another blade. We want to clean this off. Want to make sure that nothing's going to kick that blade in a weird direction. It'll affect the balance. Should always be clean. It needs to be cleaned. Look at these cool baffles here. Aren't they neat? They're really neat. Now, another thing I want to do, and I want to show you, is you see these bushings in here? They're on either side. We want to start getting some lubricant on that, and up in these seals and everything, and down in this seal down there on the dry pulley. I'm going to flip it around on the other side. I'll show you in a minute. I don't have the little light with me, but we're going to let the oil drip out for a little bit while it's over here, and I'll take care of a few things. Let it drip, we'll come back. What do I want to do? Yeah, I got the blade sharp. Let me go do the carburetor. It's just dirty on the outside, so I'm going to give it a wash. We'll go in, I'll clean it out. Nothing to really see here, fellas. We know it runs, but if I see anything alarming, I'll show you. Get that done, and then we're going to come back to the motor in a minute. So about 20 minutes, half hour. All right, that's back. Got some lube on there, but I wanted to show you guys. Look at this. All right, so they casted extra bosses, and you see there's a number of them there, so there may have been something else here, or had the option for. And you got this steel plate here, which is bent. We're going to fix that. And then you got the baffle here, which is in good shape, but notice how it bolts into this recess. Boy, they don't do that, huh? So I'm going to bang that in because I don't think it's supposed to be like that. So just carefully. You know, let me do that. We should probably take it off, but we can't. I don't think we're going to be able to. I want to be careful with that. I may not want to bang it. I'll start from here and see if I can work my way. We don't want to shock this too much because you could crack the deck. So let me put my attention on that. All right, I made my initial cleaning and it made a mess. So I dumped that. So there's junk in the hose. There's also, oh, I got it wet so you can't see it now. All right, it's oxidation from here. And I hit that with my wire brush. So I'm gonna run all my stuff in it. Cleaning brushes. Look at the size of the chunk of the crap. It's all around the front of the motor on the head. And even after I washed it, like, it's still dirty. Let me finish cleaning it up, and then we're going to go back to the engine in a bit. All right, so by the way, I took the cable. I just disconnect the cable. I have a way of doing it. This isn't the video for it, but then I put grease in it. It's in beautiful shape. Put a little oil, let it drain down. It's in beautiful shape. I tightened the coil. It was tight. I have an adjustment scenario for the automatic choke that's on other videos. I'll probably just make a standalone video. I blew out, there was water in here, right? Because we washed it and it's been sitting. So I blew out the water. I disconnected this nice cover over the muffler. And what we want to do now is we're just going to check spark, but also we want to do a compression test and we want to tighten the head. Now, most of the time, the bolts over here loosen up. So let's just see. All right. Now that one's good. Oh, that one's loose. Well, that one's good. Now, a lot of times these get stuck. The shanks get full of oxidation. The threads get it. Some of these threads go into a blind hole, and they're usually protected, but the shank isn't. Others come through out the other side, and then all the oxidation gets on the thread, and then when you try to pull the bolt out, right, it can destroy all the threads. There's a lot of reasons for all that additional friction that's on here that keeps you from being able to use a torque wrench. Don't use a torque wrench, not worth it. I can put this back in a minute, and what I want to do now is, hold on, let me get my juice. So because there was water in it and there was a lot of oil, I didn't see a lot of oil come out, fellas, which is good. I didn't really see any of that. We're going to put some of our friendly juice in there. And I'm just going to grab this plug over here. And I'm going to spin it just to kind of push that juice around a little bit. Why didn't I bring over my... I'm not ready. I'm not paying attention today. I'm getting tired. It's Monday, so this is a good job for a Monday because it's not super involved. All right, now we're going to spin it. And by putting the plug in, it's going to force that, this is my special mix, it's going to force it everywhere, driving out water, and it'll also give you an ability to loosen up all that carbon and the rings. Good, good. It's definitely compression. So while that's there, where's my good plug? I prepped out a plug. I used one, but it's clean. Let's just check spark. Now, we know we have spark, but I just wanted to show you while we're spinning it like that. And maybe we'll put, you know what, maybe we'll put a little bit more of that nice juice in there. Because that'll really allow us to loosen up those rings that are all full of gack. You can imagine it. Burning oil like that, I mean, it's probably okay for the cylinder wall, but what it'll do to the cylinder wall is it'll create a glaze, and that'll affect compression too. And I talk about that in some of my videos where I take these apart. Beautiful spark, fellas, beautiful. Now the bolts felt pretty tight, that's good. Right, there was like one loose. Let me spin it over and I'll tell you what the compression is now. About 80 psi, so that's not excessive. And like I said, keep in mind, you'll probably be able to see this too. I'll bring it over if it doesn't leak down. This is getting to be an old gauge, so the little O-rings and seals are getting beat. Yeah, see, it's starting to come down, but that's not bad, if you can see it. That's not bad. And also the juice that I'm putting in, which is a 50-50 mix of tranny fluid and gas, right, that's going to affect it bleeding a little bit too. It should make it go up. But what we care about now is allowing it to sort of do its job and soften up everything, and you'll see when it starts. All right, let me put this back. Let me put the top on. We're going to put the tank on, and I'll put some oil into the correct level, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. And the reason why I want to do that is because we're going to need to let it run. I'm going to put it out in the back, and listen, if it works fine... Oh, one more thing too, fellas. Now, like I said, I checked the igniter, but this intake tube constantly loosens up, and I'll get you in for a closer shot. Let's just see. Let's see if it tightens up. Hold on. Yep, a little bit, just a little bit. Oh, yeah. Let me get you in for a shot, and then we'll put away some of the junk, and we'll put everything back, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Well, this is how much oil was in there above what it needed to be. Now, it's just a little bit under the dipstick mark, like I said I wanted to do. I filtered it. Most of the junk, it's been sitting for like an hour. A lot of that junk is sitting on the bottom. Let's give it a run and see what it does. Probably gonna smoke. All right, now let it run. Automatic choke, we should just be able to pull it. Pull it! Still smoking. Let's let it go. Well, it's getting better. Oh yeah, that's better. Oh yeah, that's much better. You see there's a lot of oil burning off still, but that's oil burning off. See the junk underneath here? I don't have that light on, but you can see it. We'll clean that off in a bit. Let me turn it on its side. Just give it a minute to cool down a little bit. She's red hot. And then we'll dump this oil. And keep in mind, that's crap oil that's in there. So it's going to be much better with a better weight oil. We're going to use a good oil with a little bit of a conditioner in it. And I think that'll be fine. Yeah, it just poured out. It's gross. It's thin. It's still got some lubricity. Lubricity? But it's shot. All right, let it do its thing. We'll clean it up. All right, we got to do, after this, I want to hit these bushings again, and we'll turn them around, get those. And then we're going to go work on the adjusters and the rear gears, right? Because we need to take care of his gear system. You go find the backing plates and all that. It's running good. I tested it. It's the gears seem to be moving fine. So we'll do that right after we do the oil, so I don't forget. Let it drip, though. Yeah, that oil is just garbage. And it's stuff settling already. It's filthy. It's not oil. It's garbage. Yuck. All right, before we grease it up, now I had already put oil, right, when I washed it. I just want to make sure, because sometimes there's junk. This is a little rusty, because it hasn't been lubricated. Yeah, she's okay. That's good. All right, let me just give it a quick blow again. Hold your ears. Any sand or whatever, get rid of it. We want to get a little bit of our chain wax on this stuff here. All right? That'll like lube up. Oh, that's nice. Isn't that nice? All right, so we got a grease fitting here. Look at that, we got a grease fitting. Oh, don't put grease. Grease is what attracts it, you see, because... I just had another fella tell me that, right? It's all dirty because you put grease. Grease attracts dirt. Yes, they're attracted to one another in a sick way. What grease does is it suspends the dirt, because the dirt is going to get in, whether you like it or not, but because we have grease. Let's put some grease. Oh, look at that, fellas. One more. Oh, just push out all of that yuck. All right, good. I'll do the other side in a minute. But isn't that nice? Oh, yeah. See? Don't put grease. You put grease. Oh, grease. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. All right, fellas, don't put grease here. I know there's a grease fitting. Ignore that, okay? That some idiot put a grease fitting here. All right, let's make sure. I have the plastics to put on, too. Go get them. That's in beautiful shape. So don't put grease on this, fellas. Don't put grease. Put grease. I know. I put grease. And then this one's got these weird nuts. They kind of come in from behind. I think the guy lost one, but this one works. It fits. Yeah. And you could put grease on that to help hold it in place. Don't put grease. What are you doing? You can grease. I hear this stuff so many times. You put grease. I'm going to wipe off the extra grease, though. Let's just hold that, because that nut falls out. So, let's see. Yeah, that's good. And then we'll wipe off the extra. It gets so frustrating hearing that. Grease. All kinds of machines I built. Right? You at some point, if you don't have... Everybody wants, like, new dry lube. Right? That doesn't work on everything. Okay. So, down in here, all right, we want to get a little bit more, because that's the bushing and the bearing, and it's also an area where just like basically this whole adjuster moves. All right, let me go get the parts that I'm missing. I'm missing the covers. So that's greased. All right, I put a little grease on this little teat here, right, so it helps hold it in place. Oh, you put grease! I know, fellas. All right, so we got some grease. Grease! Oh, God. All right, and we got this little guy here, all right, which you should actually put a little grease. Oh, my God. All right, put a little grease on it. Hold on, I'm doing it off camera. And then put it in here in the plastic here, right? This way you know it's in there proper. And put a little grease. Oh, you're killing it! You're killing it! Jeez. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this. All the comments are going to hear about, you put grease! Alright, and then it goes on. We got to kind of hold that nut just so it doesn't completely pop out. There we go. Get it started. Don't do this with the tools, fellas. You know, the zip tools. I had to fix one recently on that Toro I just did because somebody went, eh. All right, almost. Now we can tighten it up with the tool. Where is the tool? It's beautiful. All right, isn't this nice? All right. Oh, moves like butter. Swings nice. All right, let me get it locked in. That's so nice. Look at that. It sounds beauteous. All right, this is a nice design. All right, I got to do the other side. I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, bells, I'm using my Smart Saker grease attachment here. Grabs onto the grease nipple. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Yep, Smart Saker. That's www.smartsaker.com. Get yours now. All right, there's no grease fitting on this one, but what we're going to use is a bit of chain lube. Chain and cable lube, because it's going to go in like an oil or a penetrant, and then it's going to gel up. So you can also put oil, but this, like I said, this will gel up. We get it moving around, and then we're going to finish up with a bit of chain wax to give it a bit of a grease. Grease! No, you can't put grease. All right, or you could just start off with oil too, but you want something that's going to be able to wick in there, right? So that's what I like about these, because that's what they do. They wick. All right, and then of course, grease. No, you don't put grease. Alright fellas, I'm going to take a break and then come back. I'm just going to put a little disc sander on that. It holds the cover on. Everything looks good. You know, it looks fine. There's still life left in it. Flatten it out, center punch it, drill it out, 1/4-20, right? Because it gets jammed in there because of the aluminum and the steel, and you get electrolysis, and nobody put grease. If you put a little grease. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, went through it with a 1/8 drill. It's a little off center, but that's okay. It's holding a plastic cover on. So I went all the way through, and I'm going to suck that out, and then we're going to follow up with a 6 or number 7, and then I'll tap it 1/4-20. Like I said, it's just a plastic cover. Alright, we got it all back together. Okay, let's run it for a little bit with some of that fresh oil in there. We'll let it run out of fuel. Running really good. No smoke. I do smell a little of the oils and stuff that I put on it burning off, but no smoke. I also put a little oil on the flapper on the thermostat to get it, to make sure it's moving well, and it'll carbonize, which will be like a lubricant. She's fine. All right, let's go in. This is one really nice, solid machine. Aluminum deck. Okay, it is solid. It feels solid when you move it. It just feels like it has purpose, like really, you know, like it's meant to do what it's supposed to do. And I know that sounds weird, but it's a nice machine. You know, you guys, some of you guys know I get excited with some of the stuff that's nice, right? Not working on crap. Juan, your machine is done, and I'll give him a text later. Yeah, I got some other stuff for him too. And his lady friend, I think they're going to be fighting over which machine. He's got the black one too. So if you guys have one of these SR4s, you're lucky. I mean, hold on to it, please. You know, either that or throw it out and make sure I get it. So we went over everything. It's really just the motor was over full. The air filter was just absolutely clogged. It had not been, you know, seen by a doctor. But it's better now, right? It's not sick anymore. Fix that bolt, right? Put that in there. It's all done. I will see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Do something, right? Let's build that channel up. We're getting real close, fellas. You guys are helping me out, and I really appreciate it. This was a nice one. I enjoyed it. Didn't need a lot. It needed love. A little bit of love and tenderness, a little sweet talking. That's probably what your machine needs, you know, especially if you got something like this. Look, I can understand how maybe you got a machine that's a piece of crap, and you're like, drive it to the ground. Don't do that to this thing. I'll see you guys later.